Hi everyone, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com, and I am here using the new equipment that we were able to purchase thanks to your generous donations. I am just blown away how selflessly you contributed, and I am incredibly grateful. In less than 24 hours time, we were able to raise enough money to buy a new GoPro 5, a Rode microphone, and the adapter to connect the two. Plus we have some extra money that I have earmarked to get an additional battery. I was able to upgrade the memory card as well that came with this camera. And this is the first tutorial ever that I've been able to record in just one continuous stream, and I cannot tell you how nice that was. It's going to make creating these tutorials so much easier. And when it's easier and more enjoyable, then of course I want to make more of them. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. So today we're going to make this project here. This is that, if you remember more than a year ago, I tried to make a whole cloth quilt and then I turned it into a bag. This is a variation of that bag, which I have right here. And there's a couple differences. I replaced the hook and loop tape with the press lock because the hook and loop tape is kind of loud. But I like the press lock, but if you don't like that look, you could easily use hook and loop tape and bring that down a little lower. And then I also used a longer strap, and I went with 1 3/4 inch webbing so that this could be worn crossbody. There are 2 exterior pockets and 3 interior pockets in this design. And what makes this unique is this flap closure, and the interior and exterior pockets are quilted. This is a really fun project, and I'm excited to show you how to make it. So shall we get started? Okay, so for this project, both the interior and the exterior are crafted from the same pattern pieces and in the same way. So I have pre-crafted my interior. I'm going to show you how to craft the exterior. The only exception between the interior and the exterior is the interior has quilt batting on those body panels and the exterior does not. And the only reason that the exterior does not is because I've selected a heavier twill, which is going to offer the bag plenty of body anyways. If you happen to choose a cotton fabric, quilt weight cotton for the exterior, then you would want to add the batting. So what makes this bag special is that the pockets are quilted, and I just did a simple pattern like that and free-handed it. I'm sure if I measured them, they're all a little bit different, but it adds a lot of stability and beauty to the bag. So all of the pocket panels measure 9 inches tall by 15 inches wide. And you're going to take those and press the top and the bottom edges over approximately 1/2 inch. The lining of the pocket is not quilted. And so what I like to do with the pocket panels is stagger those just a bit so that that lining pops up over that top edge, and that adds such a nice finishing detail and another pop of color. So I'm going to position the pocket like that with just a peep of that lining, and then top stitch across there twice to finish that top edge of the pocket. And that double row of stitching really adds the detail that you want on this beautiful exterior pocket. So I want to take one of my twill body panels, which measures 15 by 15, and position that pocket 3 inches from the bottom. Then put 2 pins in the top of that to hold it. And what I noticed is if you lift up this quilted panel, that pocket is going to fall just slightly shy of that bottom line. So what I want to do is stitch across that interior lining so that there's no gap in the pocket. And then I could go ahead and lay that pocket down and stitch across that bottom to secure both layers. Now you can divide the pockets any way you like. I divided the interior pocket in thirds. I came in 5 inches from either side and stitched a row down there to create a 3-way divided pocket. For this one, I want to come in right at the center, which would be 7.5 inches. So I'm just going to mark that with a pin. And what I like to do on the exterior pockets is add 3 rows of stitching. So there'll be 1 down the center and then 1 just to the right and the left of that center stitch line. Okay, now I have a gorgeous 2-way divided pocket. You can really see that stitching on the back there, how I divided that up. I want to take the remaining twill body panel for the exterior and position that right side's facing on top of that pocket panel. And I'm going to reuse my pins from underneath to secure all those layers. And I want to stitch down the sides and across the base. For the interior seams, I used a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, I've stitched around all 3 sides. Because this is a woven twill, I do not want to trim away too much from that stitch line because over time this fabric could fray and then I would have a hole in the bag. So the only thing that I'm going to trim is just a 1/4 inch, approximately 3 inches down from that top edge. And that's just to reduce that bulk when we fold this over. Okay, now we're going to create a fat corner for this. And so you reach inside there and you're going to align that side seam with the base seam. And you can feel that to confirm that that is aligned. And you're going to stitch straight across here just below your pocket, and that should be 4 inches should be the perfect distance. So with using a chalk marker you could mark that, or I usually just put a press line in there and that's good enough. This twill doesn't press too nice like that, so I'm going to go ahead and mark it with a little pin and then stitch across there. And that's what the corner will look like. And then I want to repeat that process on the other side. Just lining up that base and that side seam. And then measuring 4 inches across, which will be the depth of the bag. And that's what the other corner looks like. Now you're going to trim off those corners to the right of this stitch line, approximately 1/2 inch. And you can discard the little corners. And now the exterior of the bag is complete, so you want to turn that right side out. This navy blue is gorgeous with this white floral. I was also considering a dark green, and I'm so glad I went with the navy. I'll show you the green that I was considering using too. Okay, so now the exterior is complete. I need to fold down that top edge or fold it inward approximately an inch. You want it nice and even across the top there. And then you're going to bring over your interior, which is crafted in the exact same way with the quilt batting, and fit that inside of there. I put the pockets on the opposite side, so if the front pockets are here, then the interior pockets would be along that back wall. And when I am fitting these linings, I begin at the side seams and pin that in place. And then start working from the center over. Isn't that gorgeous with the navy? It really pops. And this color scheme is perfect for fall, so you don't have to give up your flowers when summer leaves. Okay, and my interior fits in there beautifully. And you can see that combination of the quilting, the twill, and the cotton fabric with the batting offers the bag plenty of stability. Now this bag is going to have a fixed shoulder strap. For that, I selected some really top quality olive webbing. This webbing is 1 3/4 inches wide, and I ordered that off of Etsy. I will see if I can't find the link to the shop that I ordered it from and put that in the notes for you. And I have this 48 inches long because I'm hoping that this can also be used as a crossbody bag. So that webbing is going to go on either side in between the interior and the exterior layers. And if you wanted a shorter strap, then you just use less webbing. So let's check the drop on this handle and make sure that's not going to be too long. And then you could test fit it. Yeah, that's perfect for me. Now I'm 5'8", but this sits nice. So you will want to fit your strap to suit you. Okay, now I'm going to craft a key fob because that is a must-have for me in every bag. Otherwise, I can never find my keys. And that is crafted from a 3 by 12 inch strip of cotton fabric. My typical strap construction method: fold that in half and press, then open that up and bring those raw edges in to meet on that center press line, and fold that over one more time. And I'm going to top stitch down that open edge and then across the opposite edge to finish. And then for this, I found this sweet little flower key fob at the Hobby Lobby. It's very tiny. It's like a 1/2 inch opening there. So I'm just going to thread that strapping that we just created through there and then fold it in half to create that key fob. And that is going to get pinned in between the interior and the exterior layers. And I want that approximately 2 inches from the side seam so that the keys can be tucked on the inside of the bag or on the outside for ease of use. Now the last thing that we need to do is craft this flap and then decide upon what kind of closure this bag is going to have. I'm really hoping to integrate this press lock because the other bag that I have like this has hook and loop tape. And while hook and loop tape is very secure, it is not something that you can open in a quiet place like a library, the movie theater, church. So I wanted something that's a little bit quieter in case I want to sneak into my purse. So I'm going to see if I like the looks of this after I get this flap closure crafted. So the flap is also quilted, and that is from a piece of material that's 6 inches wide by 8 inches tall. And then I have the coordinating interior fabric there, and I want to position that right sides facing and then just stitch down the the 2 sides and across the base and leave that top open. Now for this, I think I'm going to go ahead and round those corners. So I want to fold that in half long ways, and then I'm just going to angle those corners just a bit so that this takes a softer shape. And same thing, just going to stick with stitching around 3 sides. Okay, and you can, because this is cotton fabric, you can trim up within a 1/4 inch of your seam to minimize that fabric bulk. Then you want to turn this right side out and press it if needed. Have a really gorgeous flap there. I just want to top stitch around that to finish it. Perfect. And I'll bring over that bag so you can see how that's gonna look. It's very pretty. I like it. Now I want to unpackage this press lock and see if that's gonna work out for me. If it's not, then we will go ahead and go with the sewing hook and loop tape. And I get the press locks at Hobby Lobby. They're $1.99 each. Let me show you what they look like before I destroy this package. And we worked with this in last week's tutorial, so you may remember, has 2 pieces. The way that this fits in here, that little top tab there should be, the top is the shorter end, and then there's more distance there at the bottom, and that's so the lock can fit in there. So this part here would need to go on your bag, and I can already tell you, I love the look of that. Absolutely love it. So this is for sure a go. And then this press part would go right on your flap. So this has a brad with very pokey ends, and then of course the lock. And you separate this with your fingers to get that open, and then you slide that flap in there, just fit it in there, and you just want to center that on there. That looks really good. So I am going to have to mark the little holes. And then I'll cut that fabric. And then position that lock back in between the 2 layers and center that over those holes, and then it will fit right in there. Okay, so that's what it looks like on the front, and then on the back you just have to press that brad down on both sides to secure, and then the lock is on there. Then for this exterior piece, these pokey sticks here, or tabs, are really sharp, so they should definitely go through there, no problem. So you open those up and then take off that back panel, and I'm just going to reach in there in between the 2 layers, and I want this centered on that pocket. I have this stitch line to show me where center is, and I'm just going to poke that through all of those layers, and it goes through there no problem, even through that twill. It's that sharp. So that's what it looks like on the inside there. And then here is the outside. You have to put this plate back on there and then fold down those sharp brads, fold them inward to secure that. Okay, now I want to take the flap and test fit that. It fits great, it looks great. This press lock is my new favorite accessory for bags. Then working from the back side, take out those pins and you're going to insert that raw edge of that flap in between the interior and the exterior layers, and then just pin that back in place so you're pinning the flap, the exterior, and the interior together. Make sure you like the distance that you have there at the top. This looks good to me. And make sure you're happy with the length of your strap, because you can still adjust that now if you like. And the very last thing we have to do to finish this gorgeous bag is stitch all the way around the top. I removed the machine deck to do that. And then with this, I'm going to start on the sides with the strap. I'm going to reinforce that strap with at least 2 rows of stitching, and then continue all the way around, moving slowly as I go. Alright, and now the bag is complete. I really like this. I like this combination of the kind of army green web strap and then the beautiful roses and the quilting. Again, achieving that same masculinity and femininity that we did last week with the press lock bag. This is a larger version. I also think this would be really cute with just a short shoulder strap as well. And then you always have the option, if you can find a large enough tri-glide, to make that an adjustable strap. But nonetheless, it's very pretty. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found the camera quality and the audio to be improved. I want to thank our generous donors who contributed selflessly so that we could purchase a new GoPro 5 and a Rode microphone, and then the adapter that was needed to connect the two. I am so grateful for your support. There were just under 60 people who contributed to the fund, and we were able to replace the equipment within 24 hours. So that is really amazing to me, and there are no words to express my gratitude. I'm looking forward to producing more content, and I will see you next week with another inspired sewing project. Until then, please know the creative genius in me will be celebrating the creative genius in you. Have a beautiful week, everyone.